This is the first of the monetization videos. What we're going to be looking at in this video is contextual adverts. This is where the system delivering the adverts makes sure that they are relevant to the content that surrounds them. So basically the adverts being displayed should be relevant to whatever the person is looking for, and therefore they're more likely to click on the adverts, so therefore you're more likely to make some money. Now the other thing about contextual adverts is whoever's paying for the adverts, you basically just get a percentage of whatever they're paying the company who's delivering them, whether it be AdSense or Chitika or one of the other companies that do offer contextual ads. The most well-known contextual ad system is AdSense from Google, and that's one we're going to look at first of all, but there is a couple of others that we'll look at, but let's concentrate on Google AdSense to start off with. The other thing you need to understand about contextual adverts is that whilst they are often the easiest way of monetizing a blog, it's very seldom the best way of monetizing a blog. There are better ways such as affiliate programs, list building, your own products, etc., where you will normally make far more money. But there are certain niches, certain keywords where you're not going to find an affiliate program or have your own product or be able to build a list. So the easiest way, and the only way in some cases, to make some money from those sort of keywords and niches is contextual adverts. But you should still always be looking for other ways to monetize your blog, whether it's ebooks from ClickBank or other affiliate programs from other affiliate marketplaces or even Amazon products. If you can find something else other than just AdSense, and obviously you can use those as well as AdSense, but if you can find something, you're more likely to make more money. Now, one other thing I do want to point out is if you've got a brand new blog, don't throw AdSense ads on there straight away. Leave it 2 or 3 weeks until you've started getting some traffic in and there's some visitors coming in, rather than popping them on there straight away. Okay, only needs to be 2 or 3 weeks, but just don't put them on there straight away. So as you can see at the moment, our blog has no adverts whatsoever on it. So the first thing we need to do is decide where we want to place the adverts. Now the best place to get that advice is Google themselves, because they have vast amounts of data that has enabled them to work out which areas on our page will get us the most click-throughs and therefore make us the most money. Now this is the map that they give us to say which are the best areas to place our ads, and this one here above the primary content is the absolute best area to put your ads. Has been for ages, for years in fact, and I don't see that changing. It's just naturally for some reason that gets the most clicks. Now you also notice there's an area over here on the left. Now on my blog I don't have a left sidebar, so we can basically ignore that. So the places we're really looking at putting our ads are at the top of our content, at the top of the page and at the bottom of the page. Those are going to get the most clicks. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. This one is a movie review blog, and you can see we've got some adverts at the top here. These are AdSense, and then we've got some more contextual ads here underneath. These are from Amazon. Now I've been experimenting. This is one of my experimental blogs to work out what works best, and I've been experimenting to see if I'm still going to get any clicks on Amazon, and so far I don't seem to be getting many because most of the clicks still go to the AdSense ad. I'm going to swap that around and change it out to see if there's a difference if they're not there. But here you can see within the post itself, this large rectangle format, that is the most commonly used format of ad for AdSense, simply because it is the format that gets the most clicks. And as you can see, it's at the top of my post, right at the top of the content. It's where people are going to click through naturally. Okay, now if I scroll down, you can see I've got some other adverts going on. I've got a banner ad on the right hand side, another banner on the right. I've got some unit links again from AdSense at the bottom of the post, and again right down the bottom I've got another banner from I think this is from one of the affiliate programs from Love Film. Okay, so you can see I've got all sorts of banners going on there, but the one that will make the most money is this Google AdSense here at the top of the post. Now, if I have a look at another one, this is another experimental blog that I use for testing things. This has got, again, an Amazon contextual banner at the top. It's then got a standard 468x60 banner style advert from Google AdSense. That isn't unlikely to make as much money, both in my experience and Google's own recommendations. So we'd be better off with a large rectangle there. I've simply been doing this, again, for testing purposes. You'll notice on the right we have a larger Amazon one. This is again supposed to be contextual. One of the reasons AdSense is preferred over Amazon for contextual ads is AdSense get it better. They target the adverts to the content better than Amazon can, which is why it tends to make more money. But this one I like having on most of my blogs because there is a search option, so people can search for things on Amazon, and again, you'll make some money from that. Now, if we scroll down, we've again got that 468x60 banner appearing randomly within the post, and again another banner at the bottom. Now, that's using one particular plugin to do that. This one is using a different plugin. Basically, I've spent several days, almost a week, going through. Well, I've tested over a dozen plugins, I've looked at over 24 plugins, and I've narrowed it down to the one that I will now be using from here on in, that I'm going to recommend that you use, and I'm going to show you how to use that plugin. But before we get onto that, the next stage is to go to AdSense and grab our AdSense advert codes. Okay, if you haven't got an AdSense account, you simply need to go to google.com/AdSense, AdSense, and click on the new account setup button there and get your account set up. Now, obviously, I've already logged on to mine here, and I'm just going to go through how to grab the different bits of code that we typically use on a blog, the different formats, basically. Now, one of the other things that I highly recommend you do is have a text file set up where you have the different formats that you're going to need. So 336x280, that's your large rectangle that you heard me mention earlier. 468x60, that's regular banner size. Then we've got the wide banner, and then we've got the 468x60 link units. Those are the four that we typically use. So if you set up a text file, make sure you've got those headers there so you can just copy and paste that information into that text file. The other thing it's worth taking note of while you're in your Google AdSense account is your publisher ID, which is this long number. It'll be blanked out in the video because obviously I'm hiding my own, but it comes after PUB dash up here and that long number, and just make a note of that in your text file as well, so you've got that to hand, because certain plugins, if you want to use different plugins, may just want you to give that rather than actually give the full AdSense ad code. Okay, let's actually have a look at grabbing the AdSense code, setting up the ad units themselves, and making sure we've got that to put into our blogs. First of all, you'll notice here I don't have many different ad units set up. This is actually a relatively new AdSense account that I'm using for testing different bits and pieces. It's not the main AdSense account that I use. Now, custom channels, there are two options here, ad units and custom channels. Custom channels, the best way of using this is to either be able to report by an individual niche, such as health or diet or weight loss or puppy training or whatever it may be, or if you want more detail, you can actually have channels for each individual blog that you're running. Now, personally, I prefer to have it for each individual blog because it gives me a greater level of information. But once you have lots of blogs, that can mean that you've got an awful lot of data that you're looking at. So it's up to you depending on how many blogs you think you're going to build. Okay, ad units, this is where we actually set up the individual ad units themselves. Now here I've actually called them Cinem because I was experimenting with that one particular blog, and then I've used them on other blogs as well. The easiest way of using this is to actually call each ad unit the size and type that you're actually setting it up as, and then use those across all your different blogs and record or track the data by the channel. Okay, so let's click on new ad units. Let's give it a name, and I'm actually going to call this 728x90 leaderboard. And that's obviously the size that I'm going to choose for this ad. If you click the drop down, obviously those are all the different types that you can use. I mentioned the link units. That's the one I showed you at the bottom of the page where it was just short words or keywords. The main one that you're going to have in your blog is the large rectangle, 336x280, and the other one that we're going to use in occasions are 468x60 banner as well. So what we're going to do is set up all of those using the particular names as the description of what type of unit it is. Okay, typically we will go for text and image-rich media ads. You can have text only or image-rich only. I tend to go for both so we can let AdSense itself work out which one's going to work better. Create a new custom channel. Obviously, if we've got an existing channel that we want to use, we can simply click on add. But what I'm going to do is click on create a new one, and I'm going to call it Home Alarms. Okay, so I've got my new channel specifically for that niche or that blog, and I'll click on save. Okay, so I've now got that added to the custom channels for that ad. Backup ads, leave it as show blank space unless you've got something you want to put in there. That's an advanced kind of thing to use, but it can be useful. The actual sort of colors, again, leave them as default. Google are fairly good at getting this right, so leave it as default unless you specifically want to test something out because it fits in with the color style of your theme, which is one reason you may want to change it. Again, fonts, I'm going to leave them as they are, and I'm just going to click on save and get code. I'm going to highlight that, Control C to copy. Now let's go back to our text file, and I'm going to hit paste under 728 times 90. So I've now got the code I need for that AdSense block. Now what I'm going to do is quickly run through and repeat that for the other AdSense styles that I want, which, as I said, are 336 times 280, 468 times 60, and the 468 times 60 link units as well, which are down here. So I'll just record all those in my text file. Okay, so you can see all I've done is go through and add those 4 ad code types or ad unit types. And as I say, it is really just click on add new unit, choose the type of ad that you want from the list, put the same name in at the top, and then just follow through the standard stuff, put in home alarms or whatever your channel is for your site, click on add for that, and leave the rest as default, save and get code, and then copy and paste those codes into your text file so that you've got a record of all of them. You can see here I've now got, if I scroll this all the way up, we've got the 336 large rectangle, we've got a standard banner, we've got a wide banner, and we've got our standard banner size link units. So those are the 4 types of ad units that we're going to be using, and I've now got them all set up so I can just copy and paste those into the plugin that we're going to use or into a blog post directly if I wanted to. And that's what we'll go through on the next video for you. I'm going to actually show you 2 different plugins to use, one that's extremely simple but not as effective, one that has more sophistication to it, but and more flexibility, far more flexibility, but it is a little bit more to it to use it and use it correctly, but it gives you absolute control over your AdSense ads, so it's what I'm going to recommend. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this, and please move on to the second monetization video.